Hi, I'm Kathleen Lee. I'm a database solution architect at Amazon Web Services. In this video, I'll show you how to create a read replica for RDS Oracle instance and how to use this read replica to elevate read workloads from RDS Oracle master instance. Finally, I'll show you how to use read replica as a managed disaster recovery solution. Amazon RDS for Oracle Read Replica use Oracle Active Data Guard between the primary and the Read Replica DB instances. The primary and the Replica DB instances operate in Data Guard maximum performance mode, which uses log writes asynchronous transport. In this mode, the transactions are committed as soon as the redo generated is written to the online redo log. Additionally, the redo is written to the read replica's redo logs asynchronously. This solution provides the highest level of data protection possible without impacting the performance of the primary DB instance. RDS Oracle creates a secure communication channel between the primary and read replicas, manages the setup and configuration of security groups and access control list to enable secure redo transport between the primary and the read replicas. In the following video, I will show you how to create a read replica, offload read workload to the replica, promote read replica to a standalone database as a managed disaster recovery solution. Now let me show you how to use the AWS Management Console for RDS Oracle to create a read replica. Let's use Amazon RDS console to create a read replica for RDS Oracle instance. We first go to the databases page. From databases page, you can see all your RDS instances and clusters in the same region. Choose RDS Oracle instance you want to create a read replica for. From Action drop-down menu, choose Create Read Replica. On creating page, you notice that some settings are predefined. It is a best practice that your read replica can be configured same as your master instance. Of course, you can change the settings to meet your specific requirements. Select the instance class that you require. It is a best practice to stay on the same instance class as the master instance. In case the master instance fails, you can promote your read replica to a standalone instance, which can handle the same workloads handled before by your master instance. I will leave it with a predefined setting. It's possible to create a read replica with multi-AZ deployment. Multi-AZ provides high availability for your read replicas. To avoid I/O latency during the initialization process of the read replica, it's a best practice to enable multi-AZ feature after the replica is created. For storage type, remember that if you change the type, that will directly affect the amount of time it takes to create your read replica. On Network and Security section, you'll decide which region you want to launch your read replica. For disaster recovery purpose, you can launch read replica in a different region. For the demo, I will leave the same region as master instance. Choose your DB subnet group that should be the same as your source subnet group. Select availability zone in which the read replica should be launched. I'll leave no preference. Determine whether your instance has a public endpoint that can be accessed from outside your VPC or not. For the security best practice, we should not leave DB instance be publicly accessible. I'll choose No. For VPC security groups, I'll leave default. Encryption options, you are limited to whether your master instance is encrypted or not. If your master instance is encrypted, You can only launch an encrypted read replica. If your master instance is unencrypted, then your read replica is unencrypted. Provide DB instance identifier for read replica. This parameter is stored as a lowercase string. For database port, you can use the default 1521 or different ports. Make sure it's available. You can copy text to snapshots. Choosing Enable Enhanced Monitoring enables over 50 new metrics for your instance. Through this, you can get a more granular view of your instance performance. For monitoring role, choose RDS monitoring role. Granularity default 60 seconds, but you can choose a different granularity. You can export all your database logs to Amazon CloudWatch. You can define Amazon CloudWatch alarm, send a notification to you based on filter pattern you defined. Depending on the version of the engine, you can enable Performance Insights. Performance Insights focus on your database performance and help you analyze any issues that impact your database performance. With the Performance Insight dashboard, you can visualize the database load. You can choose default retention period 7 days or long-term like 2 years. Be aware the KMS key cannot be changed once you enable Performance Insight. Auto-manual version upgrades feature allows to have your database automatically upgraded. Now let's create read replica. Refresh the page. We'll notice the now row we have the master row and the replica row. Wait until the status become available. We created a read replica. Now let me show you how to use this read replica to offload read workloads and scale out total workloads. Let's use the swing bench to generate some mixed workload with DML transactions and data queries against the RDS Oracle master instance. We can see some loads are generating right now. Let's go to the Amazon RDS console, go to the Performance Insights page. On this page, drop-down list, we'll choose RDS Oracle instance we want to monitor to. We choose the view passed in 5 minutes with auto refresh. We can notice that there is a maximum vCPU line showing we have the total 16 core for this instance. We can monitor database load by SQL, slice by user, slice by host. Of course, slice by weights. We can see we do have the CPU utilization across the maximum CPU line time by time. Back to the swing bench console, we can see the workload already ramped up. We have about 22 to 24 key DML operations and 2,400 around the transactions per second. Please be aware, this is for the demo purpose. Those numbers does not mean the performance metrics. Now let's stop swing bench temporarily and redesign the workload. This time, I will have workloads only have DML transactions. I will offload the data warehouse query to read replica. I start another swing bench and prepare the workloads only have data warehouse query against RDS Oracle read replica instance. Start generator workloads against RDS Oracle master instance with all DML transactions. When workload is generating, we can notice now we have 57K to 60K around DML operations. We have 5,200 to 5,400 around the transactions per second. and we have a much lower CPU utilizations than previous mixed workload. For the user calls, we also more than double. So we have the more than double workload. Right now, RDS master instance can handle. Now let's start running data warehouse query against on Replica instance. From the Swing Bench console, we can see query workload also is generating. Of course, we can always use performance insights to monitoring database load. From performance insights, this time we'll choose Replica to monitor too. We use the same view past in 5 minutes and auto refresh. We can see all the query workload running on the Replica. Now RDS master instance can handle much more DMS workloads. After we offload the data warehouse query to Replica. With this design, we scale out the total workloads. Again, all the metrics for the demo purpose. This is not for performance metrics. In previous video, I showed you how to offload read workload and scale out the total workload by adding read replica to RDS Oracle instance. In this video, I will show you how to use read replica as managed disaster recovery solution. First, go to the database page, choose RDS Oracle master instance. From the summary page, move to the replication section. Make sure replicating process looks healthy with a 0 lag time. After we verify everything looks okay, we also go to Performance Insight page. From there, we can see there is no database load ongoing. We want to make sure all the transactions committed and applied those changes to read replica to prevent the data loss. We back to the database instance page. We choose read replica instance we want to promote a standalone RDS Oracle instance. From Action drop-down menu, we choose Promote. On the Promote page, we choose Enable Automatic Backup with 1 day retention period for now, no preference for backup window, choose Continue. We are okay to promote read replica. We understand this is an irreversible process. Promoting process will take a few minutes. Once done, we'll notice there is no master replica relationship anymore. Read replica become a new standalone RDS Oracle instance. Let's start Swing Bench and generate a similar workload originally we against for RDS Oracle master instance. Because our original read replica has a similar configuration as a master instance, so there is no problem to handle similar workload. We go to the Performance Insight page. We can see database load is ongoing. We can see the load is ramp up. Please be aware, you need to recreate a read replica after promotion happened. Again, those numbers just for demo purpose will not be used for performance metrics. And thanks for watching. Happy cloud computing from all of us here at AWS.